The phone lights up at 11:59 at night, 1 minute before Monday, and the number on the screen has more zeros than your brain can process in a single glance. $1 trillion, not a typo, not a scam text about a package you never ordered, a single line of legal text underneath it. This balance expires in 7 days. Any funds remaining at midnight on day 7 will be permanently forfeited. You read it 3 times, your hands are cold. There's a half-eaten bowl of cereal going soft next to your laptop, and you're suddenly aware of how absurd it looks. A spoon, a plastic bowl, and $1 trillion on the same table. And here's the thing nobody warns you about. Your first feeling isn't joy, it's fear. Because deep down you already know something the movies never tell you. Money this big doesn't make you free. It makes you a problem to be solved. And the clock just started. Stay with me because by day 4 you're going to understand why the richest people on earth would actually panic if they had to do what you're about to do, and why almost nobody, given this exact test, wins it. You think spending is easy. It is the single hardest thing you will ever try to do at this scale. Let me show you why. Day 1, 9 in the morning. You do the obvious thing first. The dumb, delicious human thing. You open a browser and you buy. A mansion in the hills, 12 million. Done. A second one on the coast, another 20. A jet, 65 million, a real one with the leather and the private stateroom. A yacht, 300 million, the kind with a helipad on the back. You buy watches. You buy cars, not 140, the whole showroom. You tell the dealer to keep the change and he laughs until he realizes you're not joking. By lunch you have spent, and I want you to feel this number, roughly $1 billion. 1 entire billion. Gone. You lean back, heart pounding, certain you've made a dent. Then you check the balance, 999 billion left. You spent 1/10 of 1%. You could do everything you just did, the mansions, the jet, the yacht, the 40 cars, 1,000 times over and still have money left. That's the first punch to the gut. This is the moment the fantasy dies and the real game begins. You realize you cannot outbuy this number with objects, because objects, even the most obscene ones, are tiny. The whole luxury world, every yacht, every villa, every diamond you've ever drooled over on the internet was built for millionaires, maybe a few billionaires. It simply does not have enough inventory for you. There is no store big enough, so you do what the newly rich always do next. You try to go bigger. Day 2, you decide to buy companies, whole companies. You call a bank, a real private bank, the kind with no name on the door, and a man with a very calm voice explains something that will stay with you. He says, "Sir, you can't just spend $1 trillion, you can only move it." And that sentence right there is the secret the entire system is built on. Watch, you go to buy a famous airline thinking that'll knock out a chunk. But the second the market hears a mystery buyer with unlimited cash is coming, the price triples. Then it triples again. Your $1 trillion doesn't shrink the target, it inflates it. You are so big that you distort the price of everything you touch. You are a whale trying to hide in a bathtub. Every move you make sends a tidal wave, and the wave comes back and soaks you. The calm voice on the phone explains it like he said it 100 times. Money at this altitude doesn't buy things, it moves markets, and moving markets is not the same as spending. You hang up. You're sweating again. 5 days left. 997 billion to go. Here's the psychology nobody prepares you for, the thing that starts eating at you around day 2. Infinite money kills desire. When you can have anything, wanting stops meaning anything. The car you fantasized about for 10 years feels like a paper cup the second it's yours, and you know there are 900 more where that came from. Choice becomes noise. And you start to understand in your gut why the truly ultra-wealthy don't actually spend, they hold, they leverage, they let it compound in the dark. Because they learned this same lesson you're learning right now, just slower and with more lawyers. Spending is for people with limits. The rich don't spend, they allocate. So on day 3, you get clever. You think, fine, if I can't buy objects fast enough, I'll buy time. I'll buy labor. I'll hire an army. You post the strangest job listing in human history. 10,000 people, any skill, starting today, whatever they want to be paid, and they come. Oh, they come. And that's when the second problem, the one that turns this whole game inside out, walks through your door with a smile and a handshake and a very specific ask. His name doesn't matter. He's the first of the 10,000, and he's smiling because he's already done the math you haven't. He doesn't want a job. He wants to help you spend. And behind him is a line that stretches around the block and down 3 city blocks and around another corner. Advisors, brokers, foundations, princes, con artists in good suits, all of them holding the same idea. You are the softest target that has ever existed. $1 trillion with a deadline is not wealth. It's a fire sale where you're the one on fire. Everyone in that line has calculated exactly how desperate you'll be by day 6, and they intend to be standing there when you break. And here's the part that makes your stomach drop, they're right to. Because the money isn't the prize. The clock is the weapon. That's the trick the whole thing was built around. Anyone can hand you a fortune. What breaks a person is handing them a fortune and then starting a timer, because now every hour you don't spend is a loss, and loss makes people stupid. You feel it happening to you in real time. You stop asking, is this a good idea, and start asking, how fast can this clear? Day 4, you give up on things and you go for scale. You try to give it away. Surely, you think, generosity has no ceiling. You'll end hunger. You'll cure something. You wire 100 billion to charities in a single afternoon, and you learn the cruelest lesson of the week. Money that big can't be absorbed by good intentions any faster than by yachts. Organizations built to handle millions choke on billions. Half of what you send vanishes into overhead, into partners, into new problems you just created. You didn't cure anything. You just flooded a village to give a man a glass of water. And you realize the calm voice on day 2 was telling you the whole truth. You can only move it. You cannot make it disappear cleanly. It clings to you. It follows you home. Day 5, you're not sleeping. The cereal bowl from Monday night is still on the table, fossilized now, and you keep looking at it because it's the last honest thing in the room. Everything else is a negotiation. You've spent on paper maybe 200 billion, and every dollar out the door created $2 of new problem walking back in. Lawsuits, a government that wants to discuss you, 3 people who now claim you promised them things you never said. You understand, finally, why the richest people on earth would panic in your shoes. They spent their whole lives learning to hold. You're being forced to do the one thing their entire discipline exists to avoid. Their power is patience. Yours is a stopwatch. Day 6, something shifts. You stop trying to win. You sit in the mansion you bought on Monday, the $12 million one you've walked through exactly once, and you do the math on what actually changed your life this week. And it's almost nothing. A bed you sleep in, a meal you eat, a person you call at 3 in the morning. None of that scaled. None of that needed a trillion. The number never touched the part of you that was actually alive. So on the last day, you do the only thing that feels real. You take 1,000,001 and you put it in the hands of the 10,000 people still waiting, quietly, no cameras, and you watch what 1 million does to a single ordinary life, and it does more than the other 999,000 million ever could, because a million lands somewhere, a trillion just floats. Day 7, 11:59 at night, 1 minute to midnight. The balance still reads a number with too many zeros. You never even made a real dent, and you're holding the phone the exact same way you held it a week ago. Same cold hands, same soft light on your face. The cereal bowl is still there. And when the clock ticks over and the whole obscene fortune vanishes at midnight, permanently forfeited, you feel it, and it isn't loss. It's relief, because the money was never the gift. The deadline was. It showed you in 7 days what a lifetime of chasing it never would, that the fantasy of infinite money is a story rich people let you believe. So you'll keep running at a finish line that doesn't exist. The truly wealthy don't spend, and now you know why. Not because they're disciplined, because they've stood where you're standing, and seen that past a certain point, more money buys you nothing but more problems wearing better suits. You put the phone face down on the table, next to the spoon in the plastic bowl, and for the first time in a week your hands are warm. You had $1 trillion in 7 days, and the richest thing you own is the moment it ran out.